Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mindset Monday. Today is Monday, August 26th. And just as how August came in so fast, it just ran away. We are almost at the end of summer. I know for some states, schools are already in session, but some other states, we are still on holidays. But wherever you are, I hope you have enjoyed, for the most part, all of the summer that has already passed. And I hope you will enjoy the rest of what is left because we still have some sunshiny days. Thank you so much for joining. And for those who will be watching the replay, thank you for watching. And remember, this is not a monologue, it's a dialogue. And please subscribe, hit the notification bell that you can get information once we have them available. So today, we continue on Prepare for Your Wealth. And as always, we are looking at different phases, different segments, different parts, if I might say. But looking at Prepare for Your Wealth. When we are prepared, we can pivot when things have changed. Because as we rightly know, life happens whether we stay stagnant or whether we move. Life happens. And since we understand as Christians, Ecclesiastes remind us that to everything there's a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. So, that being said, as we were born, we were kids before we became this size, and children are being born every day, every moment of the day. So, the cycle of life continues. And as the cycle of life continues and as the circle continues, we know that there are certain things that needs to be done. So as parents, we have children, we send them to school, they go to college, they graduate, they are now starting their own life. And we, the parents, some of us are preparing for retirement or are already on retirement. And some of us, some of our parents, some of our families have different illnesses that they are, battling with, they are working through in spite of. And we are looking at ways that we can manage or alleviate some of the stressors that affects us as individuals, as family members, when we are taking care of our children and taking care of our elderly parents, those who are in the sandwich generation. Being in a sandwich sometimes is a good thing because we learn from both spectrum, but it can also be overbearing if we are not prepared for all of what life throw our way. Because remember, life happens. Life is like, you know, you're walking on the road and a ball just come out of nowhere. You can sight it. Sometimes the ball may just hit you because you weren't paying attention, or it just comes suddenly. So life is like that. We prepare, we make so much preparation, but something just come and hit us off our feet. A death in the family, sickness, terminal illnesses for family member, for self, for anything. We don't know what can happen, but being prepared, we are better able to withstand the challenges that come our way. And as we've been talking, I thank the viewers who have made comments. I must tell you that there are a lot of comments that have come in. Some of the viewers, they don't comment on YouTube or Facebook, but they either send me a text or WhatsApp message or even call. So, just so you know that a lot of my viewers, they just give me a call and they are being helped by the information that's been passed out. Remember, this is not to diagnose any particular person's situation, financial situation. It's just to pique your interest and for you to get information based on your specific need. This is to help ourselves, to prepare ourselves that we are not hit by life and then we can't get up because we were not prepared. So, wherever you are in life, be prepared. Know that we have information. If we don't have the answer for you, and you call us, or you write us, or you send us a note, we can direct you to the right person, or we can provide that information for you. I thank this particular viewer. I'm not going to call names because they don't want their names to be mentioned, but I'm so happy that we were able to provide information for you, that you were able to see how you could add long-term care to your insurance, and also for that viewer who was able to get information to assist his elderly parent with life insurance. Mark you, the information that we give, remember, or the nuggets that we give, is just to pique your interest and for you to get additional information that can tailor to your specific need, because it's not a one size fits all. When I just started my tax practice, I remembered there were two workers. They were working at the same place and they were comparing notes. So the one of the friends said that she got back a huge sum from her tax return, and she came to me and said, uh, I'm going to use a hypothetical name. Jenny said she got this amount from her taxes and we work at the same place, and I didn't get that. So I was patient enough to sit down and share with her, and I'm going to use a hypothetical name. I said, your situation is different. I'm going to use Miriam. Miriam, your situation is different. She has children, she has different deductions. Did she sit down and show you everything that's on her tax return? No. So you can't compare yours with hers. It's two different information, two different things being dealt with. And might I tell you, after years, that same person came back and told me that deductions were being placed on her return that she did not know. And eventually she was audited because she was unable to find or supply substantiating documentation to substantiate the deductions that she got on those returns. Be prepared as taxpayers to understand you may not be able to do your return because you're not skilled in that field, because we're all have our area of gifting, and a doctor knows how to diagnose, or a doctor knows how to write prescription, but a doctor doesn't know how to prepare his own taxes. I don't know how to write prescription. I'm a tax professional, I'm a caregiver, but I'm not a plumber. I can't fix the toilet or the pipe. I would have to be learned in that way. So whatever spectrum of career you are, you may not be able to do your taxes, but you should know the basics as to what what are the deductions or why did you get that refund? It's either your tax liability was less than your what you're withholding if you are a W-2 employee. But all in all, it's good to understand a little bit of what is happening. So as we over the last couple of weeks, months, we're talking about prepare for your wealth. So we're looking at from a child with the piggy bank to the high school to the college to now having your own job or having your own company and being able to deal with other employees. And also you may have you may be the one who have several employees and you're able to give leadership. Whatever it is so important that we know where we are and how we can navigate this process of life and help ourselves to be prepared for whatever happens next. In life, we think about things sometimes and we do not take action. But it is very important when we get information, we take action and allow ourselves to be prepared that life, when it happens, or situation, when situation comes our way, we're able to, as I said, pivot. We're able to get up, move on, and if life hits us, because we already have a plan in place, we can say, okay, this no longer works. So let me reevaluate and put something else in place so I can be better. I can be on a better platform. Amen. They would say in church. Amen, church. And I'm borrowing this from one of my good friends. Amen, church. Okay, so this week, um, my good friend Jen, my good friend and business associate Jen, will be coming to share. There were a few questions that were still left unanswered, or she will be sharing with us. But while she prepares, I'm just gonna remind us that it is not too late. It is the right time. August, the end of August to the rest of the year, we are preparing for wealth, and we are gonna be reminding us about tax planning. Remember, as workers, as employees, as business owners, we are prepared. We are aware that tax season is coming, and that's the last thing that most of us want to hear about. Tax season, I don't want to hear. But guess what? The more prepared we are, is the more we can understand the deductions that we have to take, or the expenses that we some of us we because we wait so long to be prepared for tax season, a lot of us we miss out on some of the deductions because the expenses we did not categorize them or we did not put them aside. We throw away the receipts and we didn't do anything with them, so we lose out on it. So we are here to help you prepare for these things. As we prepare for wealth, we're doing tax planning. So before we go into that depth, we are gonna have beautiful Jennifer Cantando as she is gonna share with us a little bit of what we didn't finish last week, and then we jump into one of the favorite, because all of what we're doing is on point. They are just relevant, and she is here just to share with us again. Hi, Jen. How are you?
Hi, Miriam. Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me. And thank you to your audience. I see Evelyn Jenkins is here. Hi, Evelyn. Good evening to you too. I can jump in and I can kind of see your audience,
Yes,
the chats going on. So I just thought I'd say hi before I come in and appreciate this a very Monday, right? Our mindset Monday that Miriam puts on, and I'm always very appreciative of you allowing me to come in and give you some knowledge of what I've learned over the last few years and what I implement or I tell other people to think about, right? And preparation is everything. I like what you were saying, Miriam. It's like at the end, don't wait till the end and freak out. Like educate yourself so that coming to you, a tax preparer, coming to somebody that can help them with their taxes, it's not so much of a strain, right? I think that we often are, we just close our eyes and go, okay, what's to come instead of preparing. So I think our last segment that we were talking about was we were talking a lot about long term care. We were doing the health directives, health proxy, as Miriam will call it, different things that we're talking about the health when it comes to your wealth, right? What is wealth without good health, and what is health without wealth? You want to have fun, right? And enjoy your retirement, enjoy money in general. But we were definitely talking about things that come up in your when it comes to your health, things that might come up, and we definitely wanted to address that and how somebody would leverage their wealth so that they wouldn't necessarily have to deplete it if something, God forbid, shows up or comes up, right? So making sure that we do have things set in place was my biggest thing, and making sure you have, um, you know, today a lot of things will like products when you're looking at life insurance, they have great products too that will have health directives with it. So it's so important to find out where you can get it or who you can get it with. I happen to know, Miriam happens to know, and as people are coming in, I see everybody coming in. Hello, Queen. And just being aware of what you can do, little things that you can put in place can help out tremendously in your life as certain situations come up. You do not have to deplete your savings, you do not have to deplete your investments, or your estates in order to, if something should arise in you can have things in order. And I think that was the biggest thing that I wanted to emphasize is talk to somebody, talk to us, a life health agent that can look on the other side of wealth, right? We want to build wealth, but we also want to take care of ourselves, um, whether it's our health or even leaving a family legacy, right, to our children. So they're not left with bills and headaches, right? But they are left with, something that they can take care of, our estate, in different things like that. So there are things that are called living benefits that you can really utilize with your life insurance. And then there is also the long term care. We went into that. We went into the long term care, and then I wanted to address the living benefits. Again, you have to find out what state you're in, if they offer them, what company we're looking at. There are things that you want to get with a professional like myself or like Miriam that can help you guide you in the right direction. Because we are brokers, it's easier to basically look at what companies are in your state that can provide those coverages and sit down and basically look at what is a concern of yours. A lot of people have, cancer that is in their family, and they know that they need to make sure that they're covered because of the fact that it could happen to them, and that's a concern of theirs. I was just speaking with a friend of mine that was telling me the doctor said, hey, you guys got to get checked out, you got to get on a regular basis because this happens in the family. So that was a concern of hers, therefore looking at this, and looking at something that helps cover her living benefits would make sense to her. So we did that and we looked at that and we addressed that. So just making sure that everything is covered from health to wealth, right, Miriam?
that's
That's
it.
how I
Health,
wanted to end
wealth.
it. But we were short for time, and that's where I wanted to end it last time. Is
Yes.
when something is in front of you, it's complimentary. You could sit down and just really look at something and say, "Hey, these are some solutions. Is this something that I feel that I need to put in place?" And then that's up to you. That is left in your hands, right? But that's what we're talking about, being proactive, whether it comes to that, or now Miriam's going to take it away and talk about like being proactive in your taxes, right? So we went from wealth to health to taxes.
And they're all intertwined because without proper tax planning, your wealth can deplete.
Absolutely. They call it the silent killer, Miriam.
That's
The
it.
silent killer.
Yes, that's the silent killer in health is is I think it's high blood pressure, they say, right? Not one of them. And one of the silent killer in finances is improper tax planning, and another one. I think there are others, but that's one of them we're dealing with. But before we go further, let me just welcome all of our guests that are actually on. We had Nancy, we have Evelyn. Welcome, Evelyn. Welcome, Nancy. Welcome, Marcia McKenzie. Welcome, Queen Dr. Benny,
There
and
you go.
welcome all of you who have joined so far. It's great having you, and we're here to just share our expertise and whatever way we can help all of us prepare for our wealth, whether through proper retirement planning or proper tax planning, or making sure that we have our healthcare directives prepared. And
Yes.
one of the questions, just as I'm on that, one of the questions that came about is how can I, someone called me, how can I write my own health directives? And it is simple, but it is also important that although you may write it by for yourself, it's so important you make sure that whatever state you're in, see what is the legal way to make sure that it is valid, because the validity of it, that's what makes the difference. Make sure, is it that you need it to be notarized? All of that has
Yes.
to be in place
Yes.
once you write that directive, and make sure the person you are choosing as your healthcare proxy, the person who you're giving that instrument, is someone that is trusted, whether it is your child, your child, or you someone also asked if if one person can, if the person can be out of the country. What I've learned is that it's best for the person to be present in the country. if
Yes. Mhm.
if you want the person to that is out of the country to be primary, there has to be a contingent that if the person who you chose is not in the country, the contingent can act on that person's behalf. So thank you for those questions. And we see that the information that we're actually putting out, these nuggets are actually helping people prepare for these eventualities. And for those who are on, who was not on previously, you could watch the other episodes so you can see what we are talking about. We're actually talking about living will and healthcare directives, and how it is prepared, and who should be the one signing off. I'm the one signing off on mine, and I give this directive to Jennifer Cantando. She will act on my behalf if I am unable to speak, if I'm unable to make decisions for myself. And this is my final statement. If I am unable to do things for myself, Jennifer will take care of everything. She will tell them, oh, no, the document is right here. Miriam said that she gave her body to for medical studies. So um, there's no need to fight the hospital. The hospital did not take her body and throw it away. She wrote that she want her body to be given for medical research. So you can still have a funeral, but the body will not be there.
Sure. Sure.
So all of these specifics has to be written so you don't have your family going crazy or shocked out of wits, because it can happen and it has happened. So we are here to remind and educate some of us who did not know before about these things and how these things are done. Don't wait until the surprises. Do it now so you can have your family breathe easier. You can, during the times when there are challenges, there are conflicts, it's not easy for families to be on one accord. But this is one of the ways that families can be on one accord when things are in black and white.
I agree with you because of the fact that I think you see it as much as I see it is we see it when the family does it the right way, and then we see when the family doesn't prepare and it's not done the right way, and how it tears up the family. So the things that you do today, the things that you put in order is the most precious thing you can do is think about your family, and by setting things in place now so that they don't have a big headache should something happen to you. Whether whether you needed the health directive or you end up passing, either way there's direction, the family knows what to do, and you have set things in order for them. I think that's the most precious thing you can do for your family is really have things in order for them, because you're thinking of them. We won't be here, right? We might not be here, but our family still has to deal with assets. They still have to do with health directives. They still have to deal with everything that you built your life, to do is sometimes for our family, but you want to hand it over to them where it's not a headache and not something that's going to, keep them up at night, or really be hard for them to deal with. You want that smooth transition. So that's what we're talking about is how do we do that and put things in place that we were really thinking of our loved ones, because that's what happens in the end is who will take care of all of this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, this with all of what we're talking about, the healthcare directives, live and will, and also making a will. This takes the guesswork. It also takes less. It also brings less challenges for the family, because if there are no will, then of course the state will need to come in, probate, and then they will do whatever they need to do.
Yes. And
Now,
people aren't aware that probate can take years.
yes,
So just want to, it could take years and years and years. It's not something that you think they can just come in and, oh, it's okay. I left the family this. They can just, deal with it. And it's sometimes out of pocket cost for your family until that is figured out.
yes, yes. One of the other things that I have, one observation that I made with one of my friends. This actually happened. Um, the the mother said that she did not want to make a will, and she passed, and the chaos that it brings with the whole family, it was so chaotic. My friends, viewers, everybody, if you have even just a little thing, it doesn't have to be huge investment. The least you can do, if you can't, If you can't create an estate, make a will so that it it is less painful. I know you work for, I work for what I have, so it doesn't matter. But just help them help themselves. Make the will. Going back to my father, when I was 18 years old, I made a will. And I told daddy, I said, Papa, and that's what we always say. I said, Papa, you need to make a will. He said, Pitney, you want to kill me off? I said, no, Papa. I said, I make a will. He said, what you have? I said, Papa, see, I have a new fridge. I have a new stove. I have a new sewing machine. I have a new computer. I have a new bed set. I had everything new because I was working with Quartz Jamaica Limited. And so I bought those things from the income that I made with them. So I had everything. And I remember I bought my life insurance and I was so happy. I made a will. I was so excited. And he said to me, but you ready to die? I said, no, Papa. If I die now, I already know who is gonna get this, who is gonna get that, who is gonna get that. And it was so exciting to me to make a will. So when I keep revisiting that with him, and can I tell you, when my dad passed and the will was being read, it was so ironic. My dad, he explained everything. He said, this is for this and that is for that. And the property that we live on in Jamaica, Linstead, he said, this property must remain perpetually. Of course, where did he get that word from? He is so perpetually. You understand? So making a will, although we are from the same mother, from the same father, listen, you don't know what can happen when information, when instructions, specific instructions are not laid down. Because one will say, I'm the biggest one, I should get. One will say, no, I was always here, I should get. But when the instructions are given by Miriam, Miriam Edwards, whatever, eh, um, give the pen, give the computer, give the washing machine, give this, give that to this. Now, people will still quarrel, but the document is there to say, no, this was what was written. Then you would say, but I thought she'd think more about me. Why didn't she? However, the document is there. So the fighting and the quarreling will be less or will be short lived because something is there preparation. I'm just laughing because as Jen talk about the fighting, and I've seen quarrel, I've seen squabbles, even at the funeral sometimes when persons are being made aware that in my dialect you know hear me not get nothing. Oh, then for do that, me not get nothing. You see? Or in proper English, I did not get anything. They did not leave anything for me. So we are helping everyone, taking the guesswork out of this whole thing, and we can be easier, live easier, and we can still have good times with our family instead of some we are walking and one person is over on that side, and then as soon as we see them we just turn on the other street. No, we can still be amicable because once we make preparations, put the preparations in place, we can live easier. So while we're alive, we take care of our children, we take care of our finances, we put things in place, we also prepare. And as we are alive, every year the cycle continues. This is so exciting to me.
I could tell you are very excited from a young age getting your will in place. I
Yes.
want to ask you, do you did you influence your father when you got your will to put something in place, or did he already have something in place,
No, he
Miriam?
didn't have anything in place yet. I influenced him and I kept going at him. I said, Papa, you have all is a I said it in my dialect. I said, Papa, a holy power you have in a holy power you have. You need to make a will. I said, you don't have to leave anything for me, but you need to make a will. And he made a will. He made
Awesome.
sure, of course, it was ironic. He said, my mom can stay in the house once she's not remarried. That was so funny.
It is. Oh my gosh. How nice of him, huh? Um, Miriam, I wanted to ask you, in your culture, I know in my culture, um, that it's considered like life insurance and wills and trust and stuff. It's considered like bad juju, like if I get it I'm gonna die, or it has that bad stigma.
Stigma.
I wonder if that happens with your culture as well, or if how do you feel? Because I feel like I need to go back and to my own culture too, and re-educate my people and say, listen, let's put things in order, let's have things in order, no GoFundMe's, no, not taking that route of unexpected death. Let's prepare for it, because two things we can always count on is taxes and death, right? So
Yes.
with that being said, how does your culture, do you feel like there's that stigma in your culture, or do you feel like people are getting more prepared, and are they more open to it now?
There's a stigma that's attached in my culture as I'm from Jamaica and more so the Caribbean, and I must say, yeah, in our culture, most of the people that I've been around are African American. So it's it's the stigma that's attached. Why do it now? As soon as I do that, I'm gonna die. That's what when I was growing up, that's what was happening. But I realized that as years elapsed, I've noticed that a number of older people are gravitating to the idea of making preparation, and also education actually helps them to shift that mindset. As we talk about mindset, they shift their mindset and they are now looking at it holistically. And even in church settings, they are educating their members as to, making preparation, because there's also a stigma that back home, I'm not sure about, in other areas, but back home, it's a stigma that once the person goes to the church, it's the church should bury them. The church should fund that funeral, and so we're being educated that we need to be good steward. And being good steward, yes, we pay our tithe and everything, but we also must be good steward, making preparation for the eventuality of our demise, that we are not left with our family standing on the corner and holding out a plate to get money, but we have something prepared. Let me see. Nancy said this topic is very important, but there are so many people are putting this matter for tomorrow. Accident happened, then you die, or in a comatose way, and everyone is confused. Nancy, that is very, very true. That is so important, very key, Nancy. Uh, don't wait until you're in a comatose state. Accidents do happen, so let's get it done. Let's take care of it. That people are not over us, whether in the hospital or anywhere, fighting over, no, she didn't want that, no, she didn't want that. Make it happen. Do it. What did we say last week? Do it now. Now,
Now.
now, now, now. You're muted.
There you go. And you're so right. It's Nancy, thank you for that, because you're just we're on an agreement that don't put off something tomorrow what can be done today. Just take care of that, put things in order, and or hey, one step at a time, right? One foot in front of the other. Yeah, by putting things in order today, you're better off today than you were yesterday. And just keep on with that philosophy of what can I do to make sure things are in order. And as long as you're putting one foot in front of the other and making sure you're getting closer to your goals of what you want for your family. Hopefully, a lot of things that we've touched on has opened up the dialogue, opened up the conversation for you and your family. Do we have things in order, whether it's a single family income, whether it's two parents in the house, whatever it is, having that dialogue like, honey, do we have things in order? I think sometimes one is counting on the other, and the other one hasn't put things in order. So be proactive where maybe your loved one isn't or doesn't have things in order. I see a lot because I sit down with a lot of families that husband, wives, spouses, partners, they don't they trust the other one to do a lot of the things and put a lot of things in order, but the other person doesn't know everything. So really putting in your input, or hey, I was listening to this YouTube, or hey, I was listening to these ladies speaking. Do we have everything in place when it comes to life insurance? When it comes to will? Do we need a trust? What do you think? Let's have that dialogue. And if it starts with, a will and life insurance, and it works its way to a trust and some estate planning, that's great. But just having the dialogue or having that conversation with the person that and it might be a mom, it might be a child, or an adult child, you just don't know the effect that you're going to have on this person if you don't have that conversation with them now. So sooner rather than later.
Happen. Okay, that was just a technical glitch.
I thought we were going to see a video. I was like, oh, what did she have up her sleeve? I thought we were going to get into some graphs or some.
I tell you.
Oh, Nancy says something too. Miriam, I'll let you read that. She
Oh,
has.
she said, my culture, my people are not worried about this. They just go day by day and leave everything behind to the families to make decisions for them wants to talk about taking care of this paperwork. But she said, it's like you're telling them that death is coming soon. Yes, the same thing I normally deal with in my culture, Nancy. But if you share with them, maybe revisit it, a little bit at a time, I think they somewhat may gravitate. Because my dad did not want to have anything to do with every time I go to him, because I'm the second to last of 11. So can you
Wow.
imagine? I'm like the little baby where the others are concerned. No, this little kid coming to talk about telling dad about um will, and you need to make a will. So this was like, picnic. He always said, picnic, go sit down. Child, go and sit. So having that constant, but I was persistent. I used to go and drain his coffee mug, and then have a conversation, because I didn't grow up with my dad. I grew up with my uncle. So it's in the latter years I went back to be with him. And while I was there, before I migrated, I always talked to him about these things. And
Yes.
eventually he gravitated towards that, and in the end, yes, he did make a will. So
Yes.
it may not take one time, but I was persistent. Even going to eat a little of his food that he left, just to have the conversation. But I was persistent, and Papa, as we call him, Papa made a will. And so it it diminishes the quarrel or the squabbles that could have happened had not a will been made.
Well, I tell you, Miriam, you having 11, I mean, your father having 11 children and you being persistent, first of all, I think that's amazing because you made things happen. Um,
Technology again, technology messing with us.
I waited on that. So, I mean, that's awesome. That you were able to influence, you being the almost the baby, right? Second to the last, you said. So
Mm-hmm.
you were able to influence your father in getting things done, and then you can see like you were also not only did you influence your father, but you were a recipient of seeing this happen and how important it was that he did do the will, and then you were right there to see everything and it happen and unfold in front of you. It went a lot smoother than had
Mm-hmm.
you not have a will. So I can tell by your conviction when you're talking about it, you have lived it, and I think that's merit in itself because now you have the skin in the game to say, listen, this has happened to me of 11
Mm-hmm.
children. We got things together. I want this for you. So I think your audience can really appreciate being a child of 11, that you influenced your family and see that one person in your family, you can influence someone else to do that. And I just want to say to like Nancy, the same thing with me, but right now I feel like, in my culture, the stigma is we don't talk about it. We don't talk about death and everything like that because we don't want to die, if we talk about it. But nowadays, I think with social media, with COVID, and
Mm-hmm.
correct me if I'm wrong, but definitely all the unforeseen deaths that came with COVID, people are coming out of COVID, and coming out of the pandemic and saying we absolutely need coverage. So I think now is the best time to talk to people about it in your family. I think it's the best way to ask people because they're more open, I think, now than any time, because we did not see COVID. We didn't see the deaths that were going to come from it. And since it has happened, more people are open to saying, do we have high life insurance? Are things in place for us? Should something happen, I think now is the perfect time to have these conversations. If you haven't or your family hasn't had them already, these are the perfect conversations to start bringing up because of what we just came out of and how
Mm-hmm.
we can move forward, right? So this is good. Again, I see social media, and it might be because I'm on an algorithm, but I see a lot of life insurance being talked about, cash value, final expense, long-term care. I see all these come up on my social media all the time, so I know they're out there. They're floating out there. So I know that there are enough people that are listening. A lot of people are on social media. There's enough people listening where they're becoming open to it. Oh, I heard about this. I've heard
Mm-hmm.
about that. And there's a lot of estate planning, how you can utilize your trust, the family vault. You'll hear all these things that are out there for your family to really have generational wealth. And so now is the time to have those conversations. And even when it talks about taxes, and that's what we're here to talk about too, is just talk about the taxes and how we can get away from paying so much in taxes. Inflation went up with COVID, it went up to 9%. Again, inflation is also called a silent killer because we
Mm-hmm.
see it
Yeah,
come,
that's another
it
one.
creeps up on us. You'll see inflation, right, coming on. Inflation and taxes are the silent killer of your money. Nothing can deplete your money faster than taxes and inflation. But I do want to say that more people, yeah, my culture might be a little closed minded when it comes to that, but there has been a breakthrough that I'm seeing that more people are that didn't have it are having it now. We're having the conversation. I educate people. It's not a pressure situation. It's a more of here it is this something that you know that you're concerned about? And 9 times out of 10 people are very concerned about it. We don't have anything in order, we need to put something in order, and they're open to doing something. There's not a whole lot of time people walk away with not getting anything. There is, if it's suitable and affordable, we will figure it out together for my client.
Amen. 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 Um, Mommy Mac, she said, make your will and live happily ever after. Thank God for life. And that is so true. And we thank you all for all of you guests that are on. We see Theda King. We see, she said, hello to everyone on the panel. Very interesting topic for all of us to take serious. As you're talking, Jen, something just reminded me. For those of you who have had life insurance, or you have money in the bank or other investments that you have people who are beneficiaries on them, make sure you are reviewing them, you are making sure they're kept up to date, because another case in point, uh, one of my friends, she had the situation where her this is a family member, was divorced, and the the spouse was still the beneficiary of the 401k and the life insurance policy. And unfortunately, when the person passed, there was nothing there for the family, because a beneficiary, you can it's it a will cannot override a beneficiary. So make sure that you are keeping your investments up to date, so you know, is it the current person on it? Is it the person who you want to be on it?
Yes.
Please pay attention, get those things, revisit them and update them as life changes, as life things in life change. Please make sure you do that.
Yes, I agree, Miriam, because when you said that and you touched on that, I'm all, thank you so much, because that is, I do yearly reviews with my clients, and one is to sit down and find out, is there an address change? Is there a beneficiary change? Um, contingent. Are we adding one? Are we changing contingents? It's so important to have a life insurance agent that meets with you on a regular basis. That is so important as things change. I have a young family that the brother was the beneficiary, and now they have children, so that they want the children to inherit be their beneficiary. But it's so important that you are with it, because if something should happen, you want that transaction to be nice and smooth and it go to the right person. I've heard that sometimes the ex-wife is still on it. We definitely need to change that. So if you're meeting with someone every year, your agent every year, and if you're not, that is a concern of mine, because they sat down with you and they sold you a product, they should be there every year to review that product. And if they're not, that's a concern of mine. Or you call them up and tell them that you want to review your policy, because I think that we forget what's in our policy. I think sometimes we forget where it's at. I've called my clients, and we've had that discussion, and I said, okay, does the family know where the life insurance policy is? No. Okay, well, guess what, I can send you out a new one. Like, let's get that in your hands so the family
Mhm.
knows where it's at. Anything to make the transition so much smoother. So absolutely, Miriam, I agree with you 100%. And that could be on your life insurance policy, that could be with your bank, that could be in different areas that you have beneficiaries on, is making sure that you do update that. And thank you, Miriam, for hitting that. I just wanted to say on my side, yes, absolutely, that should be done. I hunt you down. I make sure, Liz, everything correct. Good. Okay. I'll see you next year.
Very good. So I'm getting a call. Maybe one of my viewers. Oh, no, I think she hung up. I thought she wanted to ask a question. Now, Dr. Benny, she said, why did she put her husband as the beneficiary? I would rather put my children and family than a husband. Well, it depends on, as I said, this information that we are sharing, it's not a one size fit all. It's individual because every household, every family have preferences. So that's the
Yeah,
reason you have your healthcare, your financial advisor, who you can sit with, your personal financial advisor, could be
yeah,
Miriam, could be Jen, any person, they would tailor made your decisions based on your
based on your,
personal
yeah,
specific preference.
yeah.
And
And I
when
can
you're
still answer
making,
that.
sorry, go ahead.
I could still answer that, why
Yes,
she would put her husband as a
go ahead.
beneficiary. A lot of times people still have young children, and the father is dependent. Like when I sit there, there's a formula that when I sit down with a family, there's actually a formula that I see what your needs are with your finances. Sometimes the husband might not make enough to make ends meet. And so when I structure their life insurance, I go off the basis of if the wife was still, if the wife is still alive, what her income is as a contribution. So if she's bringing in money or if she's the caregiver, all these things you have to think, is the husband able to sustain the family if something should happen to her. If he is, the kids are fine, everything like that, that's great. Maybe the husband doesn't need to be the beneficiary in that case. But for the most case, sometimes the husband is still has the burden financially. Then I would say to leave the husband. And that's not to say you can't have multiple beneficiaries. So
Hmm.
maybe your husband has a portion of yours and you have a say in it, that your husband has a portion because he's raising your children. If they're, if they're still young, he gets a portion. But when my children turn 18, I would like them to have this, this, and that. Again, giving children money, I don't always think is, there should be contingents on maybe giving the kids money, right? I've also seen when a child turns 18 and they have money in their hands, what happens to that too.
Hmm.
So I would just be, it's just your preference. It's everybody's preference and what their family structure is. That's the only reason I would answer the husband would be the beneficiary, because he's still taking care of the family and he still needs that income coming in.
Very, very informative, very active discussion this evening. And it is so very good when we are able to, knowledge or applied knowledge is power. So we're getting this information. Make sure you go and sit with your financial advisor so they can advise you on what needs to be done for your personal situation. Dr. Benny, you are so excited. She said husband will take the money and give it to his girlfriend. Well, the truth is, these are situations that has happened. These things happen, but that's why, as Jen says, once you look at your specific, dynamics, your family dynamics, then you can know, okay, based on the trend of that husband, will he be the one to take my money and go away and then leave my children stranded? Now, if that's the situation, then the financial advisor will advise you, okay, let's do it this way. Let's put contingencies. Peradventure that, then the kids will get that. So with a proactive financial advisor, they will advise you how to tailor made your specific uh, household.
But she's right. There's a lot of
Of
people that
course.
feel that way. A lot
Yeah.
of people that feel that way. In fact, sometimes it will stop them from doing that. If I get the life insurance or if I get something, she's just going to run away with her boyfriend. She's going to, and stuff like that. So, it's as funny as it is that you would mention that. I think sometimes it prevents people from actually getting that because they do have that little feeling of like, well, if I do, she's going to find somebody, and why am I leaving him money? So, that's it. You're what you're saying is valid, and people do feel that
Yeah.
way for the most part. I sit down with families and we clarify everything so everybody feels good about it. Husband and wife are involved, and maybe it is a decision where he's like, I'd rather leave the kids the money too. So that is something that, everybody needs to agree on. Otherwise, it is your policy, it is his policy. He can put who he wants to put the beneficiaries, and you can put what you want to put on as the beneficiaries too. It is your policy. If you are the owner, then you can state whoever you want to be the
Mhm.
beneficiaries, and you can have up to 5 beneficiaries depending on who what company you go with. So there's more than enough room to put beneficiaries in for the most part.
Amen. This was such a very informative and lively interaction, and we are so grateful that we are here to share our expertise. We don't know everything, but the things we don't know, we will get the questions answered. We will get the answers for you. And also, if we are not able to deal with what you want, we can direct you to the right people who can help you, because what we want is that make sure that all of us are equipped with the information so we can make proper preparation. Remember, being prepared is key. Thank you, Jen, for another time that we are here to share with you on this Mindset Monday. Remember, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You will get information when it's available. So, we are going to continue prepare for your wealth as we talk about taxes in the pursuing weeks. Thanks again for watching, and for those who will be viewing the replay, thank you. Leave your comments. We'll be happy to share more with you. Have a wonderful week as we prepare for our wealth. See you soon.